going on, everyone? Welcome, Rabid here, and today we are taking a look at the Jasminer X16-QE. So in this video, we will go through the setup process as well as showing you how to link up to Wi-Fi, because your IP will change from once you go from Ethernet over into Wi-Fi here. So you'll have a different way to log in, as well as this is an ETH hash ASIC. So it can mine any coin on the ETH hash algorithm as well as anything on the ETC hash algorithm. They're both pretty much the same, but they have different coins. But it has a wider range of coins that it can mine. And then just for other Jasminers and stuff that people are having issues with FW and reduction of hash rates, you do need at least 8 gigabytes to mine FW there effectively, or you will notice reduction in your hash rates. So before we do get into the hash rates and power consumption, I do believe this is the 1.75 gigahash version. There are 3 models of the X16-QE. One is a 1.85 gigahash model, a 1.75 gigahash model, and a 1.65 gigahash model, but all state 550 watts. So that's what the reported hash rates are. Obviously, just less bin chips. They are cheaper the less hash rate that they are. So keep that in mind as well, depending on the budget and stuff. And currently, these are cheap because once these coins do start popping off, they're going to start getting a lot more expensive. So I will have links to all this down in the description if you're looking for your current ETH hash miner. So let's start off with the basic stats of the Jasminer X16-QE, and this was sent to me from Jingle Mining, and I do have to return this, so I don't get to keep this miner, but it's just for testing purposes for you guys if you wanted information on it. So the one I have is 1.75 gigahash. It is only 6 gigabytes of memory, so it may have issues when it does come to FW there. This is only 40 decibels. This is probably the quietest Jasminer that I have tried so far, even quieter than the X16Q, and is coming in at about 550 watts. Obviously, we will be checking out all of this as well as profitability on the coins it can mine later on in the video. As for connectivity, this does have a C14 power plug in the built-in PSU, which requires a standard C13 plug. Works on both 120 volt upwards to 240 volt. We do have our Ethernet plug, a TF flash card if you want to manually flash the firmware for an update, a power switch, as well as a Wi-Fi antenna for Wi-Fi, as well as 4 mining performance modes: efficiency, balance, performance, and performance ultra. I'll show you how to set this up right now. All right, so in order to get to the dashboard, I went to my router here, and we can see Jasminer here did pick up, and here is the IP. So I'm simply going to copy this and simply place this in my browser. We are going to need a username and password. I'm assuming it was root. It's been a while since I messed around with a Jasminer, so root for the name, root for the password. Did it work? Yes, we got successful connection here. So X16Q E1750. So here is the dashboard, just like we've seen with the previous X16s. It's loading the DAG and everything already. See what the default settings are already in this miner here. We can see it doesn't have anything, so I don't know what it's loading the DAG for. But I do want to adjust the Wi-Fi right quick here so we can kind of get into that. So let's just go into WLAN. So wireless LAN here, IPU. Let's go to switch. Boom. And now we can see SSID and everything. So this is enabling our Wi-Fi here. So we're going to wait for it to do its finishing its loading process here. It seems to be taking a while. There we go. So now we got to find an SSD. So obviously just look for your internet activity, whatever your connection is, and then simply put in the password. So I'm going to do that right quick. All right, so it does say status connected. So now I'm simply just going to unplug the Ethernet, and we might have to use a different IP at this point to log into our machine. So coming back into my router now, it looks like cat popped up and a new IP here that wasn't here before. So I'm going to copy this and see if this is the new IP we need to log in when it comes to Wi-Fi. All right, so we have a login again. So root followed by root. Let's see if we got action here. And yes, we are back in the dashboard. Ethernet cable is unplugged. We are now running full Wi-Fi. So now I'm going to come back into the settings here, miner, and we should be able to set everything up. So I'm going to start off with Octa.Space here. Actually, I'm only going to mine Octa.Space. So I'm going to start with my worker address here. Simply paste your wallet address in for Octa.Space or whatever coin it is that you do want to mine, followed by your worker name. So I'm going to go X16 X16-QE in this case, so I don't get it mixed up with my previous X16Q. Then for a URL, I'm going to be using Crazy Pool here. So you can see I'm not going to be mining ZIL. You'd have to do different setups for ZIL, but as ZIL mining has had a couple halvings in just a couple months and it's moving to full proof of stake, you're not pretty much getting any. I have 5 gigahash. I'm getting rewards of like 5. So it's not really worth mining anymore. So I'm going to come into here, use this stratum right here, followed by the normal stratum port of 5225. So I'm just going to place that into the URL. And if you want to mine ETC or something else, obviously just use the stratum for the coin you want to mine. I'm not going to go with the password. Now I'm going to come into here, coin select. I do want just ETH hash here for ETH. Balance mode, we do have efficiency, balance, performance, performance ultra. I'm going to start off with performance ultra here and just see what the power consumptions are on all of them. So I'm going to submit that. Now we got to wait for us to begin hashing. And it does look like you will need a password. It was failed. So I did have to put an X in here and now it did say successful. All right. So something interesting happened, which didn't happen in the other ones. You can see we're about 14 minutes, 58 seconds in. DAG just hit to 100%. I was around 120 or 30 or something get works or works here. But then it reset, my dashboard glitched, nothing was happening, and now it just shot back up to 100% DAG process, and only 11 works. Now it used to say get works, now it's saying works. I still don't have any accepted shares yet, so I'm not sure what's going on here, but it has been over 15 minutes, and we still have not a full completed DAG, even though it says 100%, it is slowly loading here, and we don't have any accepted shares, which does seem to be a lot slower than the X16 I had a couple years ago. Again, maybe it's just initial boot up or something. We'll see what happens when I adjust things later on and try different modes if it repeats the same process. All right, so I did just give it a quick reboot. Usually I always did do this in the past. I remember anytime I changed any mining pools or wallet addresses or coins or anything, I always rebooted it. So I'm just going to try that now. It does, I guess. It never did say get works. I guess I'm just used to seeing that all the time. It still only says work. So I guess that's what it always was. And it did in fact reset here. But yeah, so now we're only at 1 minute, 17 seconds. So I'm going to let this play out, see what happens once it does fill up. All right, so I am noticing a difference. It shot to 90% just now, but I was over 45% at just under 3 minutes. Here you can see we're only at 4 minutes and we're almost full. Previously, I was at 8.5 minutes or so and still stuck at 40%. So it is looking like you are going to need to do that reboot just like I previously did, on the previous Jasminers here. All right, guys, so we did hit 3 accepted shares here right off the get-go, and we're only at 5 minutes and 45 seconds or so. So obviously something was not working properly earlier and the reboot fixed it. So make sure anytime you adjust any settings in the Jasminer, go to system here and do a reboot. That way it loads up and it seems that fixed the issue. Something was going on initially here, but now it looks like it is much, much faster here. All right, guys, so now let's go through the hash rates and power consumptions of this miner. So the X16-QE in performance ultra mode was getting about 1.9 gigahash at 692 watts. This is quite a bit higher than the alleged 550 that it's reported on the website. But again, we are, 200 megahash over what we should be. That is an efficiency of a megahash to watt ratio of 2.78 megahash per 1 watt of power that you use. In performance mode, we actually got more hash rate at 1.942 gigahash, so 1,942 megahash. Bit more power here at 695 watts. That did work out to be at actual slightly higher efficiency of 2.79 megahash per watt. In balance mode, we were 1.82 gigahash for 669 watts for an efficiency being the worst efficient one of balance mode is 2.72 megahash per watt. And in efficiency mode, we are where this miner should be at 1.759 megahash at 582 watts. So this was our lowest power consumption, which makes sense. It's efficiency mode, but it was also still higher than that 550 that allegedly is reported supposed to do, but that is our highest efficiency here at 3.02 megahash per watt of power used. So it does look like, for me, for the highest hash rate and everything, performance mode seems to be best, and obviously efficiency mode is your highest efficient setting here. Now, coming into Jingle Mining site, just to look at the prices of everything here. The one I have, the 1.75 gigahash range, is $1,201. But you got to keep in mind, we have some massive beasts that are set to release sometime early to mid 2025 here, and that is the X44Q from Jasminer, and this thing is an absolute beast. If we look at some of the stats here, it's saying only about 780 watts for 7.8 gigahash. This thing is a beast and something you are definitely going to need versus an older Jasminer to compete in that next bear market. Now, the price is obviously a lot higher here, coming in at almost $5,600. Once these ETH hash coins really start to really pump, these miners are all going to go up in price. So right now, we're pretty much at the cheapest price point possible, and we don't really know when this is going to release, but if it releases after ETH hash coins start to pump, then this price is never going to happen. It's going to be more. So it's hard to say really moving forward, but looking at all that, doing price per mega hash here, we have $1,201 for the X16-QE 1.75 gigahash version, and pretty much $5,600 here, $5,599 for the X44Q. That is 61.8 cents per mega hash for the X16-QE, where the X44 currently is only about an extra 10 cents more per mega hash, but huge when it's coming in at only 780 watts for 7.8 gigahash. That works out to be a mega hash per watt ratio of 10 mega hash per 1 watt of power. You can see how much more beastly this miner is versus the current generation X16. So, you know, if you're in the market, it's hard to say whether you should hold off or not, or if you just go for the early cheaper miner, because then again, if ETC, Octa.Space, anything really does take off, then this could be sitting at $2,000 to $3,000, and then you could possibly sell the miner and double your money or something. We're going to look at profitability here in a quick second here, but I did want to bring to light comparing it with the new Jasminers that are right around the corner. Now, here is the profitability of this particular miner all by itself based before the market started to crash. So about 3 days ago, and we can see that everything is pretty close to an equilibrium. A lot of the coins are pretty much the same profitability. A lot of people are saying, oh, Zephyr is way more profitable, this coin's way more profitable. They're all pretty close to the same. So you should just pick the miner or pick the coin to mine that you feel better in. You know, example, ETC and Octa.Space seem to be doing some of the best things. ETC has been around for a while. We know it's most likely going to pump, so it's probably a pretty good safe bet here versus a lot of the other ones. Octa.Space has huge pumping and FOMO around it, so I expect a big pump there. And then there's also obviously here a lot of other coins that you can check out here. But one thing I'm up in the air about is Conixium. As we can see here, it's only paying $36 a day, you know, one of the least out of them all, but supposedly it has 100 gigahash online. Now, I don't know if it has staking or something. This 14 gigahash makes a lot more sense for the amount it pays. And if that's actually true, Conixium, for a few of you miners, is going to be the way better bet here. So if I put in 14 gigahash here, we can see that this is making $5 a day. It's only paying $36 a day, so it can't take in too many miners. But if 1 or 2 miners switch to this, you could be making bank right now. But again, these are all based on prices before everything did start to collapse right now. So I'm going to update everything to look at all the profitability this very second at the time of recording this video. All right, so here is everything updated now. We've seen some hash rate switches and stuff. ETC actually lost some hash rate with the loss of price. Conixium is still obviously in first place because I don't know what the actual network hash rate is. It doesn't make sense to have over 100 gigahash when it's only paying $36 a day. So that could be staking, but again, I could be wrong. Coming in, Quirk Chain, the same thing. I don't know what's going on there, so I have a question mark. But it is looking like ETC, depending on Conixium, Conixium cannot absorb any hash rate at all, really. So only 1 or 2 miners will be able to move over to collect that decent amount of rewards here before it collapses into no profits at all. But ETC looks like to be a solid top coin at $2.81 currently. When it comes to power, remember, this is only using about 30 to 40 cents a day in power at 12 cents per kilowatt hour. So take that into calculations. This is well over $2 a day in pure profits on ETC right now. BitNet Money is about $2.65. We do have Octa.Space is in about third place here at $2.64. FW is at $2.60, but you won't be able to mine it that well because these are only 6 gigabyte, not 8 gigabyte. So that may be an issue there. You will have reduction in your hash rate. So I probably shouldn't even have that there. I'm just keeping these other Octa.Spaces here for previous having, so you have an idea. Like when the bull run hits, I can see, was I making $100 a day when I was early mining Octa and stuff like that. So ignore these befores and firsts and things like that. Octa.Space now is currently Octa.Space. Seems to be doing very well with the people that have dropped off the network. Maybe I shouldn't have told people that, but you know, we're looking at most of these coins here. Zephyr is pretty low in profitability at $2.45 right now. This chain is about $2.15. Metaverse is $2.08. Then eGaz is in last with $1.59. So this is the current profitability of the Jasminer X16-QE. All right, guys, so that pretty much does wrap up this video. We pretty much went through anything you need to know about the Jasminer X16-QE, as well as looking at some future Jasminers. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on Ethash coins, as well as any of these miners down in the comment section. I'll see you on the next one. Rabid out.